Of his release, they said Combs would submit to drug testing. Prosecutors argued strongly against Combs' release. Prosecutors pointed to testimony from the trial in arguing why Combs should remain in custody. They said that his team did not contest that he was physically violent and a rampant drug user. In a letter submitted to the judge, the government said, quote, "A detention is mandatory following a conviction of this offense. The government has been unable to locate a case in which a defendant was released from custody following such a conviction."
Things are getting weird inside the prison where Diddy is locked up. A nurse who's been helping him reportedly saw his medical records and was so shocked she couldn't stay silent. According to rumors, the file includes pages of STD information that Diddy never wanted anyone to find out about. These aren't just small issues, some are long-term infections. Now people in the prison are getting worried. Diddy still seems active and confident, but his recent weight loss has raised eyebrows. Some think it's linked to serious health problems. And with his past wild lifestyle, people are now wondering how many others may have been affected. This might be more than just a rumor. Could be the start of something bigger that's been hidden for a long time. Even before Diddy ended up behind bars, whatever's going on, it has people talking and asking questions that won't go away anytime soon.
You know, the next thing is, man, Craig Mack was the one that jumped Bad Boy off. And and it got so bad that Craig Mack, who died from AIDS, that man, he got brainwashed so bad from Diddy and got done so wrong. The man went to South Carolina and joined a cult with his family until he died of AIDS a few years ago.
Let's rewind for a moment because all this drama with Diddy didn't suddenly start when he landed in jail. One of the first red flags showed up years ago with Craig Mack. If you know your hip-hop roots, Craig was a big part of the early success of Bad Boy Records. He had real talent and was expected to help carry the label. But then he just disappeared. Later, people learned he had left the music scene completely and moved to South Carolina, where he joined a religious group that many considered extreme. He gave up performing and stayed out of the spotlight. In 2018, Craig passed away from complications linked to AIDS, which stunned a lot of people. Those close to him said he had suffered emotionally before leaving the business. Some think Craig saw something dark behind the scenes, something that pushed him away. And with the recent claims about Diddy's risky behavior, folks are starting to wonder if Craig's exit was no coincidence.
Telling me I'm HIV negative.
Absolutely HIV negative.
But doctors warn his body is hanging by a thread.
You're endangered.
Recent talk from inside prison claims a nurse came across Diddy's medical records, and what she saw left her shaken. This wasn't a normal file. It reportedly had multiple pages pointing to serious health concerns, including several STDs, like herpes, and even suspicions of HIV. As word spread among inmates, the mood behind bars shifted. People are reportedly uncomfortable because Diddy isn't keeping to himself. Rumor has it, even in jail, he's still attracting attention from others and not in a low-key way. Now, add in his sudden weight loss. Diddy looked much thinner. In court, and many believe it's not just the stress or jail food. Some say it could be signs of a long-term illness, something that didn't begin inside prison, but followed him there. That medical leak only confirmed what many had guessed. For a while. On the outside, Diddy's parties were known for being over the top. Okay? These weren't your standard celebrity events. People described them as wild, unprotected, and without boundaries. When federal agents searched his homes, they didn't find any evidence of safety measures, just over 1,000 bottles of baby oil. No protection, no care, just chaos. Women who attended these gatherings are coming forward saying they've tested positive for herpes. They're not all pointing fingers at Diddy directly, but the connections are getting harder to ignore. Many of them were in the same rooms, around the same people, at the same time. Then they're all dealing with serious health consequences. As more stories come to light, what once sounded like gossip is now turning into a possible pattern. Some women say they only spoke up after seeing the headlines and realizing they weren't the only ones. This might not have been a few random incidents. It could have been part of a much bigger, more reckless system. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, Jaguar Wright came out with even more shocking claims.
Real black neighborhoods, so real black families could have that opportunity just like everybody else.
I mean, he actually caught HIV, like having like a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his sins.
I'm just saying.
You want to know what's wild about that though? He faced that head up.
He did.
And he didn't stop doing what he's done.
He an advocate. Now he did that. And
period. Listen to me. He faced that head up. How many dudes is running around undetectable? G?
Come on.
In the game.
Man.
Because I could tell you 20 right now that I could rattle off names.
Things took an even crazier turn when Jaguar Wright spoke out in one of her boldest interviews with Real Life Productions. She didn't hold back, claiming that Diddy has been living with HIV for years. But she didn't stop there. Jaguar also said there's a list of around 20 other men in the industry who are also infected. However, she's keeping those names private for now, saving them for her own show. Although she didn't drop specific names, people online are already speculating. Usher's name keeps coming up. Why? Because back when Usher was just 13, he lived with Diddy in New York at a place known as Flavor Camp. Usher once told the story in an interview with Howard Stern. At first, it sounded harmless, but when Howard pressed for details, Usher changed his tone. He admitted it was a strange environment and even said, "I wouldn't let my kids go to Puffy's camp." That one sentence said a lot. Years later, Usher faced lawsuits accusing him of giving herpes to multiple people. Now people are wondering, did something happen during those early days that started a chain reaction in his life? Then there's Jonathan Audie, a name not many remember. He was a former adult actor who, in 2018, shocked everyone when he fired shots at Trump's Dorado Beach resort in Puerto Rico. At first, he was dismissed as unstable, but then he started dropping names including Diddy and Cassie. People ignored it, but now court documents from the federal investigation list him as one of the men Diddy allegedly hired. Suddenly, his old claims are being taken seriously. And the most painful part? The passing of Kim Porter. She wasn't. Just Diddy's ex. She was the mother of his kids and someone who stood by him for years. When she died unexpectedly in 2018, it shocked everyone. Now rumors are swirling that parts of her autopsy showed she was HIV positive. If that's true, and she knew things no one else did, it makes her sudden death even more chilling. All of this has people asking the same question. Is this just a string of bad luck? Or is there something much deeper going on?
Died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
It's getting harder to ignore the signs. More and more people connected to Diddy have either gone quiet, vanished from the spotlight, or seem broken down. Now, people are starting to ask how many of them were forced to stay silent. Did they sign NDAs? Were they paid off or threatened? Diddy didn't just have influence. He had the money and power to make problems disappear and stories never reach the public. Let's talk about Meek Mill. When Lil Rod made serious claims about Diddy's secret lifestyle. He mentioned a rapper from Philly who dated Nicki Minaj. Everyone thought of Meek. Then, Meek started posting strange tweets about people trying to ruin him, claiming he was being targeted and even offering $100,000 for someone to investigate. But to a lot of people, it sounded like panic, like he was trying to cover something up. Not long after, a video showed Diddy and Meek getting pretty cozy. Diddy even called him daddy. Then, a recording surfaced, supposedly from Diddy's former bodyguard, hinting at something deeper between them. None of this confirms anything, but the pattern's becoming familiar. And now in prison, Diddy still acts like a star. Insiders say he has inmates doing favors, fighting to serve him. But what's really concerning? Rumors that Diddy's getting involved with people inside with no access to protection. If those medical reports are real, that's not just gossip, it's a serious health concern. So now the buzz around Diddy isn't just about fame, it's about fear. What do you think about everything going on?